Hey, what's up everybody? NintenKid91 here, bringing you guys another video about Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. This is going to be a gun talk. It's not going to be an actual gameplay. I kind of want to go over what I have here on the upper part of my screen. This is a weapons stats spreadsheet made by a person named Den Kirson. He's actually created these similar types of spreadsheets for pretty much every Call of Duty from World at War until now. So all this data is very reliable. This guy has a good track record of coming up with very reliable data however he gets it. I have no idea how he actually does it. But I'm going to go through how to use this spreadsheet to your advantage. It's actually really interesting. It definitely has a lot of information that you don't see in the game when choosing weapons, and it helps you balance your classes out for your style of play, you know, the game type you may be playing, and then as well as weapon variants and certain attachments that you should use on those different weapon variants. So to start off, let's kind of go through the BAL, which is the first one I have here. So I'm going to go show you guys the BAL on Advanced Warfare also. And I have three different weapon variants of it. I have the standard, the AE, which was pretty much nothing different than the standard. It's just a different camo. You get this from pre-ordering the game. And then I have the 223 variant. So we're going to go over the 223 variant. So then on our spreadsheet here, we'll just go to the left, scroll down to 223, which is right here. And then we'll pay attention to this entire row. Now, each of these columns has some different information. Like the first column is D1, that stands for damage 1, and then the next column is damage 2, and then the next column is damage 3. Now these numbers here are hit points and they're out of 100. So as you can see, damage 1, the 223 does 33 points of damage out of 100 hit points that a character has in Call of Duty. Now the way that you read this then is there's range 1 and range 2. There is no range 3 because that's basically infinity. But the way that you read it is D1 or damage 1 correlates to range 1. So from 0 to 200 meters, the BAL 223 is going to do 33 hit points of damage. Then from 200 meters to 1380 meters, it's going to do 24 hit points of damage. And then D3, that's basically anything higher than 1380 in terms of range, it's going to do 18 points of damage. Now, the next column over is going to be fire rate, or fire time, and then rounds per minute, as well as the special rounds per minute. Certain guns fire differently. Magazine capacity will be next, and then we're going to have some penalties or gains that you get for aim down sight time, view kick, hip spread, and then there's some other notes that sometimes are put in here. And the last two columns are going to be your damage multiplier, so you can multiply your damage by 1.1 if you're hitting them in the head, and then by 0.9 if you're hitting them while they're moving. So let's go through the 223, which is the one I have and the reason why I'm using it. As you can see, red denotes a negative change, green denotes a positive change. So this gun has a little bit of both. We're losing 1 point of damage for damage 1. We're losing 9 points of damage for damage 2. And then we're losing, let's see, 6 points of damage for damage 3. The range 1 is still the same. However, range 2 is 1380. So when you kind of factor this in, our gun is going to be doing... the regular one does 24 points of damage past 1200. So for an additional 180 meters using the 223, we're going to do 24 points of damage. So that's a little gain over the rest of them. And then the best thing about it, though, is the fire time here. 0.06 seconds. That's the quickest fire time you can get. The other thing you want to look at is that the launch, or the RPM, basically the rounds per minute, is 1,000. So it's higher than the standard rounds per minute of 857. And then the other thing, too, is since the first 4 rounds on the BAL actually fire slower than the rest, it's you get a higher first 4 round per minute time. So 750 opposed to the first 4 rounds normally being 666. No change in magazine capacity. We have no penalties or gains for the aim down sight, view kick, or hip spread, which is really nice. And then the notes here is just how you get this variant. You just have to get 300 kills with the weapon. So that's kind of the reason why I chose the 223 over the standard one, because I have none of the other variants unlocked yet. Next thing I wanted to show you guys is the ASM one. So what we're going to do is we're going to click SMG here, and it's going to bring us to the SMG page of information. I'm going to scroll down so you guys can see. All right, so the ASM-1, it does the most damage out of any submachine gun for damage 1. There's a considerable drop, though, for damage 2, and then damage 3 is 18. Now, the reason why I'm using the Strider, though, is because, look at this. You stay with damage 1, you stay with damage 2, but you gain a little bit on damage 3. Range for range 1 goes up, so you're going to be doing 35 points of damage for a longer distance, and then range 2 is much greater than the standard range 2, so you're going to be doing 22 points of damage for a much longer distance also. The other thing that I really like about this gun is that you're only getting a penalty of 30% view kick, which is essentially the kick when aiming down sight, and you can really counter a lot of that just by throwing the attachment foregrip on there, which is what I did. So now I'm canceling about 20% of that 30% increase in view kick, which is really nice. Outside of that, the best actual ASM weapon is variant is the Speakeasy, and here's why. You're only losing range 2 distance by a little, 200 meters, but it's an SMG. You're supposed to do most of your engagements up close. And you're losing a little bit of infinity damage. It's going from 18 to 16. Whoop-de-doo, big deal. But the biggest thing that you're getting with the Speakeasy is a quick fire time, the fastest fire time you can actually get with the ASM. Rounds per minute is going to be the highest possible, and then you're not getting any penalty for aim down sight, view kick, or hip spread. So that's really nice about the SMGs. Another thing to notice too is when you move over to the column here of moving, when you hit somebody with an SMG when they're moving, your multiplier is no longer 0.9, but it's 1 exactly. So you're doing that exact damage. 1.1 is still the multiplier for the head. So the other thing I wanted to show you guys, just because I have been using shotguns a little bit lately on a team deathmatch class that I have, is the shotgun stats on the spreadsheet here. So there's the TAC-9. It's the most powerful, obviously, for damage 1, but it's single shot. Here's the, you can't see it because I'm cut off, but the S12 here. Here's some information for the S12. I'm using the Gallant version, and the reason why I'm using that is because I have no other variant of it besides the standard, as you can see on my screen. The only thing you lose with the Gallant version is that you're losing your sprint out time is going up a little bit, so that's the time that it takes the weapon to pull out after sprinting. That's the only thing that I'm losing with it, but I'm getting some extra magazines. So that's the only reason why I'm using it. I never use a shotgun when I'm sprinting. I always just use it for close quarters engagements. So I'm never in the situation where I'm sprinting at that point anyways, because sprinting in close quarters is never smart. So the 20% increase in sprint out time is not a big factor when I'm using this weapon. They throw the snipers, pistols, launchers, specials, and the turrets, as well as the heavy machine guns in here also. But I'm not going to go over that. However, I will link this in the description so you guys can kind of look over this on your own time and kind of plan out your variants and attachments better to get your best bang for your buck. Ideally, I always try to go for the gun that's going to give me the most damage in the situation that I might end up being in. So on long range maps, obviously I want to use a rifle that carries the most damage for the most range. Up close combat, I want to use the SMG that's going to have the fastest fire rate and the most damage quickly. And then just from there, you can plan out what you should do in terms of your class setup or weapon variants based on the style of play that you have. So like I said, I'll link this in the description of the video. There's actually a couple of information points here on what each thing means, so you can read through that to kind of get a better understanding of the chart. And I'll go ahead and leave you guys with this video. Like I said, if you have any questions on this, please message me. I will respond and help you out with any answers. Outside of that, though, this is all I have for this video. I'm going to keep making some more commentaries on how to do better on certain game types, on certain maps with you guys, share my tips and tricks, and hopefully you'll enjoy those. Take care and have a nice day.